Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Blue version. And today we are exploring Victory Road on our way to the Pokemon League. So, first thing to note, in Victory Road we will be needing strength. As you can see over here, we have a strength boulder and we, I believe, also need Surf. The main gimmick for this dungeon is to open paths by pushing these strength boulders onto these switches here. So, as we go around, we're going to be running into mini encounters, nothing new. But depending on what we run into, I will try to level up some. That way we're ready for our league challenge. Oh my. And if it starts getting a little too excessive, I might have to fly out and go pick up some repels. That way we're not stuck constantly getting interrupted. Okay, there's one knockout. Alright, let's make use of strength. This first one is a fairly simple kind of puzzle. The main thing we just need to be careful with is making sure we don't get stuck somehow, so don't push it straight up over here. Just pick it all the way and then push it down. And now that unlocks the way to the next area. Kind of weird that they have Zubats here, level 22. There are going to be a lot higher level Pokemon as we go through that we can use for grinding. So, okay, like this Machoke here. This is actually be a good battle for Terror to help get him some experience. Hit with Fly, get the knockout. Yeah, no, I'll probably be heading out soon to go get some repels. That way we can avoid some of this. Mainly these Geodudes and Zubats that don't give much experience. Onix isn't too bad, but Terror isn't the best matchup for him. But before I head out, I want to go over here because there are two items that we can pick up. But we kind of have to make a choice between the two. For right now, we just have to leave and then come back here. Okay, Marowak. This would actually be a decent battle for Terror. Using Thrash. Okay. Let's use Fly. Get that stab boost. I'm thrashing about. Hit with Fly once more. Almost get the knockout. Gets confused. But a Swift will knock it out. Okay. So, with the item over here, luckily we do not have to use strength. There are two of these. Depending on which one you want to get first, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to get this one over here first. We see it's a rare candy. And what I'm going to do is leave and come back to this spot so we can pick up the other item, but also while I'm out, I'm going to pick up some repels. That way we don't have as many wild encounters for right now. So I will see you in just a second. Alright, I'm back. So let's get this other item. And I believe it's actually a pretty good one. TM43. So if we check this. Okay, Sky Attack. It wasn't the one I was thinking of. So that is a move we could think about with Terror, but once again, I don't think it'd be the best, mainly because he's, unlike Fly, he's still there to be able to get hit. And we found a female cool trainer. She starts off with Persian. We send out Terror. Okay, first Fly. Almost wish I got hit by that payday, because we would have got some money. Uses Bite. So Persian, the evolved form of Meowth, is very fast, and that actually makes it fairly good in this game due to it being able to get critical hits more often. I believe it learns Slash, which will basically be guaranteed to be a critical hit. If you were to use it. Let's go Hyper Beam. Maybe we can get the knockout with this. And we got the knockout. Alright. Ninetales. Yeah, we're going to switch. Let's send out Isis. With Bubble Beam, we can counteract it. Roar could possibly have an effect on us. But luckily, we don't have to worry about too much. Another super effective, lowering its speed again. Ember should not do much, even with a critical hit. Quick attack may do a bit more. Okay, not that much. But we get the knockout. So this dungeon is fairly long. Let me make sure I have my list of hidden item locations. There are only 2 in here. Like one at the very end and then one near a side goal. Okay, Ivysaur. Right, use Fly. Tries to buff it with an X attack. I think I know this trainer's team. Okay, and Terror grows to level 43. Next, War Turtle. Okay, yes, I think he has like the different starters. Let's send out Gachapon. Strike with Thunder. And get the knockout. Okay, next is Charmeleon. Okay. Let's bring in Kaiser. We can use his Rock Slide to do super effective damage, so let's do that. And almost a knockout. But with a strength, we should guarantee the knockout. Okay, and next is a Charizard. I'm going to keep Kaiser out again, because now it's 4 times weak to Rock Slide. So this will probably knock it out, I would imagine. Yep. Due to it doing a lot more damage. And Kaiser grows to level 42. Okay, now let's go to our next floor. More strength puzzles. We can't push that one up right now. there is our barrier. That's what we're trying to get rid of. Okay, for this puzzle, what we need strength. So every time we go to a new room, we have to reactivate strength. We push over once, then push down. Okay, repel wore off. Pop another one. That way we're not constantly running into wild Pokemon. Even though it's not necessarily so bad, I want to try to get this done in one episode for a specific reason. Granted, this could end up being a longer episode due to everything I want to accomplish here. And we get a knockout with Fly. Alright, aim a chop. Another easy knockout with Terror. Granted, we might need to start moving other Pokemon up front to get them experience. But I'm probably going to have to start grinding after this episode to get us ready for our league challenge. Another Machoke knocked out. Terror gained some good experience. Alright. And if we look up above, there is one of our goals for today's episode. But we will get around to that later. Okay, TM05. This is Mega Kick. So another Mega Kick if we want to teach it to someone. I'm not interested in it. Okay, there's that trainer, but I'm going to come around here first. Okay. You don't have to say that. Alright, another Tamer. Meant to switch out Terror, but it's not that big of a deal right now. Let's get up in the air. Tries to use Screech, which I think lowers defense 2 stages. Okay. Is this where we actually get to see it? Okay, no. I was under the impression... Well, it might actually still do it, where once they get one critical hit, the rest of it will be guaranteed to be critical hits. So that's why we kept getting 10 damage done to us. I might be mistaken. Alright, Golduck. Yes, we definitely need to switch Terror out. Gachapon would be good for this one. So this is the evolved form of Psyduck. Golduck is a pure water type, so Thunder will do a lot to it. Golduck and Psyduck both learn a lot of Psychic type moves, but they are not water Psychic types, which I feel like would be a good buff for it if they ever did give it a new evolution, but I keep imagining them giving it like a regional form or giving it a convergent evolutionary line, maybe like a platypus. I think that'd be fun. And here is a full heal. Okay, let's switch out Terror. Okay, everyone's 42 except Terror and Gachapon. So let me move them to the back. We can focus on everyone else. Okay. There is an item over here, but we're going to need to take that ladder. So Victory Road is a staple in basically every Pokemon game, I think with the exception of kind of Scarlet and Violet. I don't think that little stretch is referred to as Victory Road. But this is always like the final challenge before the league. You get the gauntlet of tough trainers, usually with a variety of Pokemon. A lot of the times it deals with the cave. Okay, here's a unique move we have not seen before. Substitute. So Substitute is a unique move because what it does is it sacrifices a quarter of the Pokemon's health and in turn creates a little doll that has that much HP. So it can basically take hits up to a fourth of the health, or depending on how much they get hit for, possibly even more. So it's a defensive move that allows a Pokemon to possibly gain some longevity in battle. TM17, Submission. So this is a fighting type move. I think it does a fixed amount of damage. Nothing I really want to teach right now. Okay, there's another boulder. We want to pick up this item. I heard rumors of a child prodigy. So currently there are two children that are doing fairly well in this league challenge. Us and our rival. So he could be talking about us, or he could be talking about our rival. If you go with the manga, there are some more. So, I guess while we're kind of going through here, I can kind of talk about more of the manga, because I like that. I know, and sorry if you don't, but in the manga it follows one main character, but there's like 3 side characters that are also very important to the story of the first like arcs. It mainly matters if you count yellow as a separate arc from red, blue, and green. So the main character of the Pokemon Adventures manga is Red. This is like the analog for Ash. This is what your character is in the game. So that is supposed to be their official name. Red's starter was Bulbasaur. And his rival, which we named our rival after, Green, in the Japanese version of the manga, it is Blue. He is named Blue in the English adaptation to match Red and Blue version, where in Japan they first had Red and Green version. There was another character later on introduced who is the female kind of main character that we got to see in Fire Red and Leaf Green. Her name in the manga in Japan is Blue, Green in English, to go with the third versions version that was not released for the US. So for the rest of this conversation, I'm going to refer to the boy rival as Green, because that's when I originally read the manga. I was reading a translation of the Japanese, so I knew him as Green. It makes more sense to me, mainly when it comes to the Fire Red and Leaf Green manga, because there's a scene based around their names. He starts off with Charizard, and then Blue, the girl, has Blastoise. She appears later. And then later on, Yellow shows up, and Yellow is a unique character. Okay, yeah, we need to push that all the way over here. Because she does end up having a Pikachu, but so does Red. I need to switch. Probably Kaiser up front. But in the manga, technically, Red's starter was not Bulbasaur, but instead a Poliwhirl. Oh, yep, don't want to use that. But they go on multiple adventures. We follow Red as he doesn't really do gym battles. I think he does a few, but it gets really weird in that series. And then with the good and evil gym leaders. Where he doesn't earn his badges necessarily through battling. I think he earns like a chunk of them by defeating a robot or something. Like, the manga's weird. If I haven't said that enough. But he goes through, he does all this. The Elite Four is not like it is in this game. They're also a version of bad guys. It's Explosion. Okay, yep. So, we're going to teach this to Gachapon. Let's give him the upgraded version of Self-Destruct. Yes. Gachapon would normally naturally learn this, but we can teach him a little early, and we're not going to use that move. It is the strongest normal type move in the game. The cost, you faint. Actually, I think we want to take that ladder. But in the manga, Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow all have titles. So that's the part of like the first 3 generations of the manga is the main characters have titles that basically they get special powers. Red is known as the Battler. He is the one who is able to bring out a Pokemon's natural battling abilities. Green is the trainer. He's the one who's able to train Pokemon to their maximum extent. This is where we bring in like IVs and EVs later on. Well, more of EVs instead of IVs. But in this game, they're DVs. So, different kind of category. But he's able to train them the best. Blue is the trader, I believe. Or is she the exchanger? She, like, hers isn't as great. I kind of struggle with hers a little bit more. But like her deal is she's able to, I think she gets involved in trading later on, and basically she's one of the few people who does do a lot of trading. But the last one, Yellow, is known as the healer. And her title really, I wouldn't say necessarily fits her, but she is also one of the most broken of the main characters, because her basic ability is she's just able to unlock the full potential of a Pokemon that she cares about. And throughout the anime, she literally does not have that strong a Pokemon. Or not the anime, the manga. She does not have that strong a Pokemon. But she's able to just like all of a sudden make them jump levels temporarily. Like a famous thing is she gets stuck going up against Lance, who is basically a child prodigy. We'll get to Lance later. And he is able to like control hyper beams, like the direction they can go, and he can make them more powerful. And Yellow basically takes them on with a Metapod and has it use Harden and is able just to tank these hyper beams like they're nothing. It is crazy. Once again, read the manga. Okay. Now, let's fight the third legendary bird. Go! Moltres, the Raging Inferno. And we are weak for this, but Moltres is arguably the weakest of the legendary birds, and we're also at our highest levels compared to the other ones. Super effective. Let's... well, nope, he's gonna knock out Gimbu. Okay, yes. We are in a kind of dangerous situation. Strike with Thunderbolt. Take it down to red. And let's start chucking Ultra Balls. We see we're going to start missing. We're just going to have to hope we get lucky. But kind of one thing, it does use Fire Spin, which is really weak. But it also like traps it, so we get stuck with it for a few turns. So it's not awful. Definitely not as bad as Articuno. Okay. Let's try to put it to sleep. It does use Peck. Paracy survives. We get off the Spore. So this is probably our best chance. One. Nope. Still fast asleep. One, two, three. That was so much easier. So Moltres, the flame Pokemon, known as the legendary bird of fire. Every flap of its wing creates a dazzling flash of flames. Do you want to give it a nickname? No. Transfer to Bill's PC. Alright, and with that, we have all three legendary birds. So what I'm going to do is real quick, I'm going to pause the recording so I can go heal up, and then I'll meet you back over here, and we can continue on with Victory Road and be ready to face the Elite Four. So I will see you in just a second. Alright, I'm back, and let's continue on first. Doctor here, we can find another Ultra Ball. Kind of nice for them to put one right next to Moltres. Okay, that's what I kind of thought. I think we need to specifically push that boulder over here and go back. Oh, while I'm in this menu, let me quickly use strength because I can use it before I even get to the boulder. Super repel. Still getting some encounters. Whoops! Almost messed that up. Just due to my levels being lower than some of the wild Pokemon. Kind of crazy how our adventure is coming to a close. Sometimes I forget how short this game is. But I feel like I get so much accomplished during it. I always love playing with new team members and all the different iterations of this game. Alright. No, we do not need to do that because that won't get us anywhere. Let's battle this trainer. Trainers live to seek stronger opponents. But it's like, even though Kanto's come out so many times, I still feel like I haven't used that many Pokemon. But overall, when I actually look at how many Pokemon, like when I was developing my team for this game, how many of them I have used in other games or variations of them, it's just kind of crazy just how many I have used. Like Nidoking here, he's special to me because Nidoran was my first shiny I ever got besides the shiny Gyarados in Gen 2. Caught that shiny Nidoran in the Safari Zone. Was crazy. Sadly, I did lose him. Chansey is someone I never thought I would really use because of how really weak it is overall in later games. And how rare it is in this game. But I took the time to find it. I'm using it and it's surprisingly good. But granted, it's because of them not changing up the special stat. Defense Curl. This is a move Geodude learns super early on. It just raises your defense by 1 stage. Yeah, I don't want to learn it. Oh, they're sending out a Chansey. Wow, they've used a Parasect and a Chansey. It's kind of funny. Alright, we know it's weak to physical. So let's send in our Parasect against it. And of course, one of the bigger surprises for me. Oh. We might have to send an Aerodactyl here. Is Parasect, our Parasect. Oops. Once again, click the wrong thing. I don't really need to use Swords Dance here because how physically weak Chansey is. Yeah, we see there we got a critical hit, knocked it out. And get a boatload of experience. It's I've used Electrode before in Legends Arceus because of the Hisuian Electrode. Of course, I've used Blastoise multiple times. It's probably one of the Pokemon I've used the most. Oh, we're slow and it makes it hard for us to escape. Alright. Aerodactyl is one I was always interested in, and I know it later gets a Mega Evolution. I just never have gotten around to using it. Kingler, they evolved from a Krabby. And kind of the interesting thing about this sprite version of Kingler, we're also seeing its signature move, Crab Hammer. is that it has 2 big claws where it normally only has 1 big claw. Sending out Gachapon. To strike with Thunder. But it's just Tentacruel, who I kind of always like this sprite because it's crossing it like 2 of its tentacles, like it's mad, like how dare you send me out. So barrier raises the defense. Oh, come on. But no, this game will always have a special place to me. It's crazy that the series is about to turn 30 years old. The Blastoise. See how well it can take a Thunder, with ours being roughly the same level, and couldn't take it. But the series is so much different now, and now with Pokemon Day coming up and everything pointing to Gen 10 being released sometime soon. It's kind of exciting to see what's coming next. Of course, I'm talking about this at the time of recording. A Bellsprout. Somewhat symbolical here because I was thinking about using a Victory Bell instead of a Parasect, but easy knockout. Next is Weeping Bell. I wonder who her third Pokemon's gonna be. It's like I have used the Victory Bell line before, and it was in, I believe, Heart, Soul Silver. Probably gonna get knocked out here, yep. I probably should have used Spore that first turn, but it's alright. Let's send in Terror. Get off a fly. Probably could have knocked it out with Swift or Hyper Beam. We grow to level 44. And Victory Bell. This is like another sprite that I feel like has changed so much. Just over time, adding the more colors to it, kind of making it rounder. Like, well, granted, the anime did a lot for that. Okay. Yep. We need to push this rock down that hole so we can then push it over to the left. To get, I think, one of our last paths opened up. And the knockout. Okay, strength is still active. We drop down. Really, we do not want to mess this one up. Even though Kaiser is knocked out, we can still use his strength. We just slowly push this over. And there we go. Right, one more repel, I believe, should get us through this. I have way too many that I bought. But I think this might be the last trainer for us. fight Dig. Ah, poison gas. Ugh. Probably shouldn't have used Dig there. Juggler is withdrawing. Drowsy to send out Hypno. Hit by poison. And then hit by Psychic. Starting to get whole and lowered our special, but as long as we can take this out pretty quick. That was not the best. Timing not to knock it out. Okay. Let's just pop an Ice Beam. And we get it. Okay, next is Drowsy again. I am going to switch to Terror. Due to his speed, it should be able to knock this out fairly easily. Let's strike it with Hyper Beam. That way we don't have to worry about the recharge turn, and we're kind of guaranteed the knockout. Alright. Next is Kadabra. Okay, this is physically weak, so I think another Hyper Beam should knock it out. Yep. And then lastly, another Kadabra. And we'll just repeat last turn. Hyper Beam. Oh, we missed. It is back with Psybeam. Did a fair number, but luckily we don't have to recharge if we miss. And we get that knockout. Alright. Take this ladder up. Okay, and I believe it's this rock. Oh, no. Where is it? Okay, no, it's not this spot. Wait, is there another area after this one? Onyx. Surf. This should guarantee us the knockout. Kind of crazy that Onyx is like at the end here, but fairly weak now. But Gimbu grows a little bit more. Okay, yeah, it's this one. We find the full restore. Alright, and once we come through here, we have completed Victory Road. We follow this up. Kind of a weird little maze of these statues. Can't remember if there's... Kind of hate how Gimbu is slowly fainting. Okay, I was just making sure there's nothing over there. Okay. Up here, there, okay. And now we are at the Indigo Plateau. And next time on Let's Play Pokemon Blue version, it's finally time to take on the Elite Four and become the champion of the Kanto region. So, I will see you next time.